Everyone. Welcome to Hanging Out with me. I am Miss Glory St. Germain from Ultimate Music Theory, and I'm joined today by Karen Dunlop, and we are talking about, embracing education as music teachers and also networking with other teachers from around the world. So, Karen, welcome, and please introduce yourself and where you're from.
Hi, I'm Karen, and I'm from Australia, and I came across UMT when I was changing up the way I was organizing things in my life. And I went to the Business Mastery course, attended the Business Mastery course, and it was just so nice to see so many other teachers hearing about how they teach and how they organize their studios, and that I'm not alone in my teaching. And there is this international family of teachers that we can all connect with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, even when we're talking, I'm in Canada, you're in Australia, and we might often think, oh, well, things are so different. But as musicians, we really come together, we connect, and we travel to different parts of the world. And I think it's really embracing, and it's wonderful to have a community. And I know when we connected at Music Business Mastery, it's a live 3-day event. And I'm inviting teachers to join us. I'll just pop it up so you can see it on your screen. If you go to musicbusinessmastery.live, you'll learn all about this 3-day, it's free event. And we really drill down on, what does it need? Where does your mindset need to be when you're connecting? And what are some of the strategies that you can use to make money in your business? So Karen, maybe share with us, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to that's coming up for you next? You just made a move and you're kind of getting organized to get all your teaching set up.
Well, after the first course, the thing I took away the most was the mindset and the positive mindset, how important that is. But I've realized you can't just insert a positive mindset. It's something you have to work on. So I thought of all the things I needed to be aware of with my positive mindset. And that immediately triggered little voices about, well, maybe you can't do that. Maybe you're thinking too big. And instead of just accepting that, I thought, well, why? Why have I got this little voice talking about that? So I looked back at moments when I had maybe had some negative input, and it was actually from people I loved, not being nasty, but just trying to protect me from failure. Yeah. And so that made me think about what was failure and was it actually going to harm me? And I realized that the biggest failure is not trying. The biggest way you can support someone is giving them the tools that they could use to succeed and then letting them use them. And if it doesn't work for them, it's not a failure. It's just tweaking it, trying it maybe a different way. And so for me, the mindset change has been enormous. And I don't know if it's a coincidence, but I've had my name on a couple of teachers' lists for people to find me for years and never had a response from that. And this week I've had 4 people inquire. Now, it can't be directly linked to my positive mindset, but it can't be an accident either. The other thing I got from the Business Mastery course is that you do need to implement things. And being so busy with the mindset and planning is very important. That's what I've implemented, but there's so much more that I've learned that I haven't implemented yet. So I want to come back around to it and hear them again and implement them, because you don't really know something until you've done it. Having knowledge of something isn't having it as a skill. So I think I'll be working with mindset for the rest of my life and actually really loving it. It's an enjoyable thing. And I have my plan, and I'm taking small steps. So I'm feeling a lot more confident, but I know that there's always more to implement. And especially with these live events, because other people are doing the same, I can hear what they've done, what's worked for them, be inspired by them, and maybe even inspire some of them a little bit. We'll see.
Yes. And you're so right, Karen. Thank you for just sharing this, because so often when we think about our mindset, and we have that little negative voice, and you just really nailed it when you said people all of a sudden they want to protect you. So they're going, no, no, you're okay. You don't need to take that step. But really, it's what drives us as entrepreneurs. You know, when I first started writing the Ultimate Music Theory workbooks, you know, people were saying, oh, you know, you're teaching, you don't need to do that. And I'm like, but I want to, and so I had to overcome a lot of obstacles. And like you said, sometimes it was maybe family, sometimes even friends that were saying, no, it's good enough. But you're right. They do it because maybe they love you and they want to protect you. But when you have a burning desire to make a difference in the lives of others, then you need to step outside your comfort zone. And if that little voice sitting on your shoulder is saying, well, who do you think you are to do this? You're just going to have to go, bing, you know, get out of here. But I just see, you know, your face light up when you talk about your teaching and all the wonderful things that you're going to be doing for your students. And it's no coincidence that you got 4 students inquiring. And I think there'll be a whole bunch more coming your way as well. So when you look back at your journey as a student, how did that influence you to become a teacher?
My journey as a student, I had a few teachers that were wonderful, and they were wonderful in that they watched how I was learning, but they didn't limit what they thought I could learn. They didn't tell me what they thought I could learn either. That was just open. And I guess not telling people how good they might be doesn't put pressure on them, and not telling people how far you think they can go doesn't limit them. You need to just be there to respond to what they're ready to learn when they're ready to learn it, and maybe ask them some questions about how they're thinking about things. That's what I found the most helpful. And I did actually put that into practice with one student of mine who said to me, I'd inherited her and she wasn't doing so well, and we were working on some very different things. And she said, how far do you think I could go? And I said, I have no idea. And she looked at me and she took it beautifully. She took it as, I might go really far. And she really got down to working on it. And she then went on to get a full scholarship at a school that she was wanting to try that with. And previously she'd been very shy and nervous about putting herself out there. But we talked about failure before she did that. She wasn't sure if she wanted to do it. And I said, well, what's the worst that could happen to you? And she said, I might embarrass myself. I might fail at it. And I said, are you going to be okay with that? Because the reality is maybe she wouldn't have been. But she thought about it and she said, yes, I'll be okay. And I said, what's the best that could happen? And she said, I might get the scholarship. And I said, are you prepared to take that risk? And she said, yes. And she got it. And she hasn't stopped taking risks ever since. And she's just really blossomed in all areas of her life. And that just makes me really happy to have been part of that. Yeah.
And you know, what you've also shared is that as a music educator, we are also a mentor, and our training and how we serve our community of students. It's not just about the music, but it's about teaching them the life skills about what's possible, about how they can blossom. And I always say, you know, you've been teaching a long time when you start teaching the grandchildren of your students from many years ago. But it also, it's so much pride that you have. And like, I help that person grow, not only musically, but just in the thought process of what's possible for them, and sharing with them that, to me, and of course, I'm an NLP practitioner, neuro-linguistic programming, and there is really no such thing as failure. It's feedback and it's lessons learned. And it's what you do with those lessons. You're destined to go with your profession, or with your music business, or with your education or teaching or musicianship, or whatever that looks like for you. So you must be really proud to say, hey, I was a part of that journey.
Absolutely. And I've reached out, this was quite a while ago, this student, and I've reached out to her and her family just recently because I'm making a big move to the other side of Australia. And before I joined UMT and became involved with your music mastery courses, I was very concerned about rebuilding my studio. It wasn't a big studio anyway, but I did need to find some more students. And it's a little village 3 hours outside of Perth. And I looked it up. They already have a flute teacher there. They can't possibly need a second flute teacher. But since working with UMT, I don't see other teachers as competition. I realize we can collaborate. And the talk I have with you teaching theory, there's no limit to what sort of musicians you can teach. It can be any instrument. So I don't feel limited by that anymore. And I actually feel that we could help each other. She doesn't know I'm arriving yet, but get on just fine. And we work collaboratively together. And that's the other thing I really got from this mastery course. I now have an accountability partner that I met through this. And it's really beautiful touching base with her each week. We support each other. We celebrate our wins, our steps that we've taken. And when we've bitten off more than we can chew, which is mostly me, she goes back over the notes of what I have done. And it's inspiring to me and encouraging to me to know that I need to manage what I think I can achieve. But as long as it's consistent, I will get there. I've covered ground. So.
100%. And you're so right in what you said, Karen, when you were talking about teaching music theory, that as a music theory teacher, we have our instrument. It might be voice, it might be violin, viola, it might be flute, it could be piano, whatever it is, that when you're a music educator, and if you're teaching music theory, and we talk about that inside Music Business Mastery, it opens up the doors to be teaching. We were just, before you and I came on today, I was doing my coaching call with our Ultimate Music Theory teachers. And we were talking about how some of them are running music theory classes for band programs, where all of these students are playing different instruments. So it is really a gold mine and an opportunity for music teachers to just learn about Music Business Mastery. How can you grow your business? How can you become a music theory teacher that teaches classes in different ways? And you can be teaching these online, or you can be teaching them in person. Like, there's a lot of opportunities there. So I just think that what you're putting together right now in your move, you're getting all settled in, and the world is your oyster. There's so many opportunities to teach in person and online, right?
Absolutely. I never would have thought of teaching theory as something that could help me. And now I can't understand how I didn't think of it. But certainly the tools that you've put together to help assist in planning the lessons and in marking those things, and in gaining some accreditation, teaching how to teach the theory, has given me the confidence to actually put that together. Because through my lessons with my teachers, theory was something I absorbed with my playing, but I didn't consciously learn it. And I've relearned it now consciously, thinking how I can make it clear to somebody. And that's a different level of learning for me, for a start. But also, when you're learning something perfectly adequately but unconsciously, you can't help other people to learn it because you don't know how you learned it. So that's made a big difference to me as well.
Yeah. I remember when I was taking music theory as a child, and I didn't like it. I didn't get it. And to be honest, it was really my teacher who didn't understand it. And it was because of all those roadblocks that when I started teaching piano, I didn't teach theory because I didn't like it and I didn't understand. I didn't have confidence. Yeah. And I realized then that there was that little voice, which you talked about, Karen, who was saying, oh, you don't know anything, and who do you think you are? And I thought, well, I have a choice here. I have a choice. I can either elevate my skill set and learn and do the research and do what's necessary, or I can just not be a music teacher. But if I really want to serve, I need to learn. And I did. And of course, I've written over 50 books in music theory education, and realized that there is a way that we can help students understand it. And a little embarrassing story, Karen, I remember when my teacher, then I, had a different teacher as I was moving through my music teacher's diploma. And I remember the day she said to me, Glory, she said, someday you're going to be a great teacher, not just good, you're going to be great. And you know how you wait for the but when someone says that? And I said, okay. I said, well, what do you mean? And she said, because you find this complicated, and because you're making it simple so you can understand it. And therefore you're helping others to understand. So I wasn't sure if she was calling me smart or dumb, but I just took it as a compliment and realized, which is exactly what you said, Karen, there's one thing to be implementing these things in our music, but if we don't actually understand it, it's pretty hard to be teaching it, right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And breaking things down, analyzing it, it's definitely just a different way of viewing it. So in music, it is artistic, it is creative, it is imaginative, but it's also, to be the most creative and the most imaginative and the most artistic in it, you need to be able to break it all down and see all the little parts for what they are, and then put them back together again and let them fly. That just gives you the freedom to be the most expressive. The mastery, technically, sets you free.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. Well, I want to say thank you so much, Karen, for hanging out with me today, all the way around the world. For you, we're in totally different opposite ends of the time zone. So I think for you, it's morning, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I'm going to say good morning. And for me, I'm going to say good night.
Good night to you, Glory. Thanks for speaking with me today.
Yes, thank you so much. I so appreciate you. It's been lots of fun. So I will see you next time. And don't forget to check it out, musicbusinessmastery.live, where you can learn all about the program and you get to meet educators from around the world. And we definitely have fun, not only learning music theory, but learning about how you can grow your business so that you can become financially at a higher pay scale, because you're teaching group theory club classes. You can also learn about mindset and the strategies that you need in order to teach and have fun doing it. So I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you so much again, Karen. Bye now.